It's the name Sin City.
It's not where you go, it's when you go.
They're like, I want to see the Strip. I'm like, why?
It's constantly growing.
So much to do, so much to see.
I haven't found a better view of the city.
It's the American dream.
Hey there, everybody. I'm here with Leslie with Rail Explorers. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us. That was an amazing time we had out there.
It is a lot of fun. You guys were quite giggly, so it's kind of good.
Yeah, we kind of, we know how to bring a party when we go, but the first thing I want to talk about is how awesome your whole staff was.
Wow, thank you very much. We try very, very hard for to have the experience with the staff. It's just a product, and they, I think, make it the whole experience. We work very, very hard with training. So thank you. I appreciate that. That was very, very good.
Well, it shows because the whole point of selling Sin City is to show everybody that there's more to Vegas than just the Strip. And anytime we go on these new adventures, I mean, it's awesome to see what's going on there, but the service was just unbelievable when we got there, and everybody's upbeat, and with everything going on, it's the perfect experience. You're outdoors, everybody's friendly and happy, so great job.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Can't wait to let my team know, because we strive hard. People to have a fun experience where they don't have to worry about the stresses of COVID or riots or whatever. It's just a place to have fun with family, friends, entertain. It's history. You get to be on the railroad. I mean, just have fun. The outside stresses kind of like dissipate a little bit, hopefully for an hour and a half within your life. So thank you.
Yeah, and I showed my wife and daughter just a little taste of the video because the video is not coming out for a couple days. And they just were so mad I didn't bring them. But why don't you talk a little bit about the history?
So the history first is going to be of the railroad that we have. So we're leasing property. We came in, and our founder, MJ and Alex, they're actually from Australia. So basically our founder, Mary, she found on a Korean soap opera, she saw at the end, I want to do that. There was a pedal bike rides on a Korean soap opera. She goes, I want to do that within, I believe it was 6 months. She was in South Korea learning what you needed to do with the bikes, with the railroad, with all of that. And then they came out, well, they tried it in Australia, but there was a lot of kind of red tape. There's a lot of things that go on with the railroad safety in Australia. So her dream, she still believes in it, and she wanted to do it. And they moved their family off of a dream, which I give her so much kudos for.
That's amazing.
And they started up in the Adirondacks. And unfortunately, the Adirondacks, they had to pull the track up because they wanted a bike path and no more railroad anymore. But now they have Rhode Island, which is our headquarters.
Okay.
We have another location, which is the Catskills, which is so beautiful. I kind of feel bad because I think I failed geography because I didn't know that there were mountains in New York.
Right.
I thought it was just New York's buildings and all this. I didn't know there was an upstate New York. So when we went to see Catskills, it's just gorgeous. You pedal right along a stream and you're in and out. Sometimes you have little baby bears and then mama bears. So just be careful. But you're literally outside in the wilderness just pedaling and having fun with your family. But they wanted something to come to the west side. Like, what can we do on the west side? And they have a friend, which he's actually the museum curator. So he's in charge of it. And then they developed this whole Vegas excursion with the train and the historic railroad. That's the one that comes from the Hoover Dam. So back in the day, that took all the supplies, all the people, everything to build the Hoover Dam. So you're literally pedaling on a piece of history that built a big monument. I think it's one of the 7 wonders of the world is our Hoover Dam or something like that. So you literally pedaling on history, what brought people through. A couple of our conductors, when we have our day excursions, when we do that closer to October, because right now it's a little too hot, when we have our day excursions, then our conductors, they tell everybody about the history, about where Tent City was with Boulder City, how people waited to get into Boulder City. So you see where they try to build mines, or dig mines, sorry, they didn't build them, but dig the mines. And it's just with the history and the nature, and then you're right on the railroad, and then you have a pedal bike excursion for the people. It's just one of the most unique experiences to do. And I used to work on the Strip, So I was a security manager on the strip at Excalibur in Luxor, and I was done. It was just like, I'm done with this strip. I'm tired. And then now you're talking about bringing awesome experiences off this strip. I mean, this is so
Well,
much
a lot
fun.
of people don't even know about it, and that's why we're so excited to do this, because a lot of people who come to Vegas don't even know about Boulder City, and they think, if they do know about it, that it's far away. You know, it's amazing how close it is and what's out there, and your staff did an incredible job telling us the history, because I thought that those tracks were just laid there for this. I didn't know the
Wow.
history behind it. So it made it even so much cooler, and at the end they showed us the timestamp of the year.
Yes, on the rails.
Right.
So you have the history and knowing how old the rails are, and that was the Union Pacific owned it. So then they donated that, I think it's a 5.5 mile portion of that strictly just to the museum. So we have, and then the museum's open too, so you can go ahead and walk through the museum. You can see the old steam trains.
So was that there before you guys, the museum?
Yes, yes, the museum was there, and now what's cool is, because unfortunately right now the museum doesn't offer the train rides because it's over 50 people for the group of, with like our phase 3 of what's going on with the COVID stuff.
Right.
So what actually Rail Explorers is doing to help is actually they're bringing people to the museum still, so they can go ahead and see it, and then still pedal on our excursion ride and still ride the historic train ride. And it's only available through us right now that you can ride the train due to the COVID phasing.
It just seems like a perfect marriage between you two. Like, I thought that it was all done together, but you guys came after, once the museum was already open.
It is, yeah. The museum. Don't quote me on it, but I know it's been there way before us. Have been there. We had 2 years where we tried a pop-up shop.
Mhm.
So it's just January through May. We were just trying to see if people really
Like
liked
the
it.
same location?
Mhm.
Oh.
And people loved us, so they wanted it to be year-round. And so we, just for Vegas, purposely brought a whole brand new fleet of bikes just for Vegas. So now the museum asked us to come back to help out. And what's really good is half of my employees are actually volunteers at the museum. So the people who operate the engine, the conductors, and 2 of my guides are actually volunteers at the museum. So they have both knowledge of what we do as Rail Explorers and also of the museum and the historic railroad.
And that's huge the bikes were incredible, but also getting that history while you're there and the staff talking to us about it just makes it even better experience.
Well, thank you. They work hard. They are very prideful, and they actually, so now I'm a trained conductor. So, and also to work with the team, I have a passion for railroads. My favorite, Disney ride is actually the train ride. So now I could actually be the conductor, and I get to do the all aboard, which is to me very exciting. Maybe not for some people, but when I get people up on it, it's just so much, it's fun. It's just on both sides. And half of my staff is from Boulder City. And so, and I have just a group of, it's very diverse, and they
Yeah.
work very, very well together.
They were incredible. I can't say it enough, but you'll probably be mad at me.
Uh-oh.
But I was at Disney last year,
Yeah.
and I've taken my kids there every year, and I've never rode the train. Is it rode or ridden or been on the train since last year was my first time ever.
Nice.
They couldn't find me for a couple hours because I kept staying on. It was
Isn't
amazing.
it awesome?
Yeah.
I love the railroad. We're diverting away, but that is the first ride, and if my family cannot find me, check the railroad.
Right, and you heard me complaining about how much cardio I'd have to do on the bike. Think about on the railroad how much walking I saved by going from one side of the park to another. So
But you did pedal pretty good. You brought your peeps with you to help. You did good. There is that little bit of hill at the end. I heard you did good.
they kind of got mad at me because I started pedaling at the end, and I was like, oh, I should probably start pedaling, and it was almost over at that point. They were. I looked over, they were sweating like crazy, and I'm like, this is a breeze. Leslie was right. This is pretty easy, but I really didn't pedal.
That's good. And you do, and if it's nice, and you have actually a tailwind. So you work up the really good pedal past the crossing, and then there's a little area called our derail, and you work it up. You get a coast until you get that hill. It's pretty
Or
good.
you could do what I did, bring 3 of your friends and let them coast for you the whole
That was
way.
good. Sometimes one parent brought children out for a punishment. because he was mad that they didn't clean the house. So he
Put him
says,
to
now
work.
you're working, and he worked. But they had fun, and he goes, okay, that did not
Yeah, that's a
defeat the
good
purpose,
punishment.
because we were laughing and joking, and he had actually had a good time with his boys.
So what ages do you see? Because you have to be a certain age, or
No, we actually have ages. So if it's like little babies, they're wrapped up in like a little papoose thing that either like the mom or dad holds them in on the chair. We do have child safety harnesses for like the little ones. So like the 1-year-old to maybe like 5. It all depends, because it depends on size. Sometimes there's tiny 5-year-olds and big 3-year-olds. So
Right.
depending on the size, then we wrap them up in our child safety harness, and then you have older, they come and they like to sit in the front because the pedals are a little bit closer in the front. But then I had a 95-year-old lady who came out, and the family wanted to help her, and she goes, I'm the breaker, back off, and she pedaled up the whole thing, and we're just
Oh,
like,
wow.
she's my new inspiration. She was pedaling, she goes, that's it, honey? I was like, okay.
well, now I feel even worse that I wasn't
Oh, anytime,
pedaling.
Jack, anytime.
So there's a 4-seater that I was on,
Mhm.
and then we had 2 people from our team on the 2-seater. Is that how
Which
they
is
are?
tandem.
Tandem. Okay.
Yeah, so you have the 4-seater, which is $150, and then the tandem, which is $85. But if you're locals, we love our locals. I mean, even before all this COVID stuff, we love our locals, but it's a 10% discount too for locals if they want to sign up with us also.
That's amazing, and I can't wait for people to hear the podcast and see the video, because I didn't know about it, and Jason on our team, who we're going to be talking to later, put it together for us,
Nice.
and I'm super excited he did, because I can't wait to get this to more people to see what an amazing adventure they can have in town. I mean, I'm looking here in your Catskills one in Rhode Island. They look like they have some gorgeous scenery.
They have gorgeous. Rhode Island is beautiful.
Have you
Like,
done
you're right
all
on
of
the
them?
sea. No, I haven't done too much of the Catskills. But I did the Rhode Island, and it's just gorgeous. You have this sea, but I'm a desert person though. It's a little humid out there. Just wanted to let people know, even though I am from Chicago, with the sea and all that, it was a little humid that was out there. So make sure you bring your waters. But that's another thing for us too. Make sure you bring your waters. We got baskets in the back. But Rhode Island, getting back to Rhode Island, you have the scenery with the ocean, but then they also have really cool night tours, and then they have fireside. So they have like campfires that you go ahead and they roast marshmallows, they have s'mores. Our Catskills one has a beer and pretzels tour, and they have huge pretzels. It's not like a little pretzel, it's a huge pretzel. They come in pizza boxes.
Well, you said beer, so you got Jason excited.
Yeah,
so
it is.
he-
It is a beer and pretzel tour, and they have a picnic. It's a big picnic with like the lights. You're underneath it. I love what our founders have done with it, and it's just a family togetherness.
It's a great idea. The whole thing and how you describe how it came about is amazing. But when we were done pedaling and we got there, I'm like, okay, it's over. That was amazing. And then I didn't expect that we showed up to these areas with a bunch of red, comfortable chairs and lights everywhere. And then we had a ride back with the train, and it kept giving. I thought it was over, but it was amazing. So let's talk about that area where you stop at with all the
Nice.
lights, because we saw something there that would probably freak out my wife and daughter, but that tarantula was pretty cool.
So Rex, that is actually our. His name is Rex.
Is
so
he an
we
employee?
Rail Explorer. No, but we found him. I like to see him from far away.
I don't blame
I
you.
know. But you know what? There is wildlife that's out there. So if we aren't afraid of what's out there, you showed they have like the little lizards. You have little geckos that are around. There's just
And you had somebody clearing for snakes before we got there, or?
yeah. Well, because this is rattlesnake season. This is the desert, so it's rattlesnake season. So just to make sure that everything, because the snakes likes to go to the warmth of the the coolness of the rails. So they like to be cool and all that other area. Actually, I did get that backwards. They don't like the cold, so that's why we have fire extinguishers, or we have a relocating tool that we go ahead and put them into a different area, because they are wildlife and you need them. I got a whole thing about snakes this year. So our animal control and everybody talked to us about that you need to relocate them because there's mice around the area.
They serve
So
a
they have,
purpose,
so
yeah.
that everybody has a spectrum in the food chain, or everybody has a purpose. And basically we reiterated that with our team, like everybody has a purpose on this team. So the individual who does our quote unquote Rail Explorer Snake Patrol, but he's also the show and tell guy with Rex, our little tarantula. I mean, and it is kind of cute. You know, he's there as long as I see it from far away. And well, but also in Rhode Island. So speaking about wildlife, like they have the little bears. They have there's little lizards, and there's big bugs though in Rhode Island, like big water bugs. But they're there.
I'm
that
more
fly
scared
around.
of the bear, I think, than the
Well,
bugs.
a little bear has a mama bear, so you
Yeah,
always
that's
got
what
to
I'm
be
worried
careful
about.
around that stuff. But we have your bear carrier, what is it? The Be Gone bear like spray or something
Okay.
like the bear spray. But we do the best in some, and they're not. You know what? What's cool is like it's a really cool like extra attraction. Like you see it, like the kids like
The
with-
kids loved it. It was cool because one of your employees called all the kids over, and obviously there was some distance there, so they didn't have them right on it, but they called all the kids over, and it was awesome to see. My kids are all grown up and talk back to me, so when I get to see the little ones, it gets me excited. But you guys did like a little show and tell, and it was just a cool hangout area, and we got to enjoy it because I like mountain biking a lot, and I go
Okay.
to Boulder City like once a week, and I love being like out in nature, and to be able to sit there and just relax for 20 minutes. I don't even remember how long it was, but it just made that experience even so much better just hanging out there. And you guys had your staff came and put lanterns next to us, next to you guys think of everything.
Well, we try. And well, the thing is though, I also like to empower my team is like, what can make this better? And every question that we have, we start off with a briefing and a debriefing, and it's always what can we do to add value to this experience? And that's them. And I didn't know if you saw that they were solar panels. So we're eco-friendly in company. So we have the solar panels with all of that, the USB charges, with the lanterns, and it's because of the little details. And I'm glad that you noticed the little details with that because they work very hard to try to make the experience great for individuals.
To me, it carries a lot of weight because everybody knows a real estate agent. Everybody maybe is related to one or knows one. But what separates my team and I is that service, and we care about each deal like it's our own. And that's how I felt when I was out there with your staff. It felt like they treated. I always liked when I was in the hotel industry many, many, many years ago, thankfully. No, it's not bad, but it's a little bit
What
of a
did
grind.
you do? Now I'm just totally curious. Come on, what did you do?
I did valet for many years
Okay.
at one of the biggest properties. I was super busy all the time, but I always told my staff, and first of all, you're an amazing leader.
Oh,
So
thank you.
the way you talk to your staff and care about them is how I, talk to my team, and it was always treat people how you want to be treated when you're on vacation. And that's the vibe I got from you guys. Like if you wanted to go somewhere, how would you be treated? So when they brought the lantern to us, it's such a small thing, but it's just like, that's awesome because we're hanging out talking, and it was nice to have some light. Or when they called us over and gave us the history. So whoever comes to visit you guys is going to get an all-around experience, and I'm super thrilled to have this video come out soon. And what days of the week are you open?
We are open every day except Tuesday and Wednesday right now during the summertime. So Thursday through Monday we're open, and we have a 7:30 tour because since the sunset's getting earlier, so now our times have changed to 7:30 and 9:30. 9:30 tour, we're rebranding it to the neon tour because kids love to light up with the glow sticks, the tours. So we're having competitions with families now because you can't, for safety and other reasons, they can't decorate the bikes, but you can decorate your family. So little
there's
kids,
gotta
so
be
we
a
tried
prize,
it.
right?
Yep, and there is a prize
All
at the
right.
end for what they do for who lights it up the most. So for 4th of July, we tried it. I was like, let's see if we were sold out in 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I was just seriously.
So do they bring their own lights, or can they buy that from you
We
guys?
will have them to buy.
Okay.
But the thing is, we still have to be eco-friendly because some of the glow sticks are not eco-friendly. So, in order, so we go in with that. But they have the light-up rings that that you can sell. Their stuff even at dollar stores. So if you guys
Right.
wanted to go to the dollar stores and light it up, so it's just those things of like what would bring more fun to the experience, and especially at night, like sunset tours. The sunset tour is a good date day. It's like, okay, but at night sometimes you can't see some stuff. So what would be cool? So the strip is not the only strip that lights up at night. It's going to be now the railroad
I love
is going to
that
be
idea.
lighting up at night.
I love that idea with a little bit of Disney flavor into it.
Well, I didn't want to bring that up, but yes, I love my Disney. I do. The electrical light parade is my ultimate favorite.
And that would look awesome. I can't wait to see that. When does that start?
That's going to be starting in next week, August 1st.
August 1st. And
I was like, wow, August 1st.
how long does that go?
We will see
Until
if
the
it's
fun
good,
ends.
and it's going to be up to the people. Basically, the people have the voice. If it's going to be pretty good and they like it, we'll continue to do it.
It is hot in Vegas, as we know, but the good thing compared to your other locations is the humidity. Even though it was hot, it was dry heat, so it didn't feel bad. So what hours you have, I think those are perfect, because
Thank you.
we wanted to start a little earlier to film, and it didn't feel bad at all.
We had some pretty good weather. The week before, it was a little warm. It was a little warm, even with the sun down. It was still warm. But it's Vegas. I actually asked my guides. There was a thing, so I says, do you guys want to do early morning, or what do you think would be? They go, Leslie, it's Vegas. People like night. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So they decided. I was like, I'm not doing the middle time. Sorry, I'm not doing the high heat, during the day, but it's early mornings or night, and they want a night.
It's got to be either super early or late.
Yeah, but the late was really, really good, and I love it. I mean, I just love promoting whatever this is, just because it's fun. It's just fun, something fun for the family, like healthy fun. It's good.
I can't wait to get my family out there because it is fun. So the glow sticks are a great idea, but it's a nice cherry on top, because you don't really need to add too much to it, because it's already so exciting. And for you guys who work there and see it every day, you probably, you get used to it a little bit. But for us, coming for the first time, amazing experience from beginning to end. And then once we hang out there a little bit, a train actually came and brought us back.
Yes, the train. And also with keeping, I don't know if you noticed this with the West End, the social distancing, there are special zones. So there was a red, a white, and a blue zone. And we have 3 open air cars. So every special zone was on that. So we try to do as much we can with the COVID stuff, just to have it, but where it doesn't seem where it's just another COVID thing. It's
Right.
just, try to have it flow with fun. And I'm looking over at your thing, and I see the little Vegas night little snake guy. I don't even know his name. I'm so sorry. I probably should. I'm a Chicago Blackhawks fan. Sorry.
But now you're in Vegas, so you got to...
I know. I represent Vegas when they're not playing the Blackhawks.
There you go. I can accept that, because obviously we live in a place where there's so many different people from so many different places, but you got to root for a Vegas team unless they play your team. So
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's,
All right. That's good.
that's acceptable. So when they were calling out zones, I didn't even think for a minute that it was because of COVID. They said you're in the red zone. That scared me a little bit. I thought we did something wrong because we were in the red zone. But
Well, you guys needed a couple timeouts.
yeah.
No. You guys are
actually
fine.
we did. Let's be honest. This group knows how to have a good time. But speaking of the COVID thing, we're trying to focus the next several months, and hopefully this thing gets better and over. But we're trying to focus on outdoor activities.
Yes.
So yours is perfect for that. You're open 5 days a week. You're doing it at night. If somebody's watching this during the winter or spring, do you guys do it during the day? Do the hours change? Okay.
So we are all day during the day. So starting middle of September, depending on the heat, because sometimes September heat lasts, the 100 degrees lasts very long in September, but mostly October and November, it's going to be about 7 tours a day. So I will have 2 teams.
7.
I will have an A and a B team, and then we will just be out and in and out and in, and because people love it during the day. They like to see it in January. It's so cool. Like, I like the January because it's crisp, cool air, sweatshirt time, and stuff like that to do it. And then, well, unfortunately this year we weren't able to do May, but then May is also, so October and May are our 2 prime months if you want to see like some coolness, freshness, and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're in an awesome location. It was really close once we pulled into Boulder City. People can do that. They can go enjoy the lake. There's so many, you can make a whole day out of it. So if they're coming into town and they want to check the hours, where's the best place to do that?
The best place would be www.railexplorers.net, and then they could go ahead and check that out. and all of the information will be on there. And or you could, there is an 800 number.
It's 877-833-8588. So I'm on top of it. Look, I'm
That
your
was
biggest
good.
fan.
I was just like, do you really have my page up there?
I'm your biggest fan, right? We had a blast, and we want to show you how much we appreciate it. So I had your phone number ready to go. They can call. They can check the website. The museum, are they open different hours?
They are open very different hours. So right now it's 7-ish to 3. But you can only look at the trains. You can't go in the trains because of, sanitation and disinfectant stuff.
That was good enough for me because that's the closest I've been to a train. So
Really?
that was awesome. I know, it'd be cooler to go inside and all that, but even though with everything going on, it's definitely worth it just to check out. And it's an extra bonus too when they come check you out. That's part of the
Yes.
adventure. So before we go, how long have you been in Vegas?
I have been in 21 years. Wow,
21 years.
21. I should go play the blackjack table now. I'm like,
There you
wait
go.
a minute, 21 years. But yes, it's I came out here because I was from Chicago. I was in
Okay.
Chicago. I lived there for 22 years, and I was a paramedic. But I got an injury. My whole lifelong dream was to be a flight medic, and I got an injury, and my dreams were shattered. So my grandma and aunt and grandpa lived out here. They says, "Why don't you come to Vegas?" And I says, "Well, I'm not a stripper, and I don't know how to get. I'm not the best with numbers. So what am I going to do out there?" They go, "There's a lot more to do out
That's
here."
what we're trying to
than-"
show people.
So
Yes.
21 years ago, that's all that I thought Vegas was until then I worked my way
Most
up.
people still do, though. They think that's what it's all about, and that's why we're bringing them this, where there's more to Vegas than just sin. That's why we're calling it Selling Sin City, and we're going to show that. So
There is no sin on the railroad. We're good.
no,
We're good.
okay, good. Because at the end of each podcast, our producer Regis, he gives a rating, almost like you would see at a movie.
Okay, got it.
So I think yours is looking pretty good, but Rex might bump you up to, I don't know, maybe a PG-13, but maybe not.
All
If
right.
you keep some distance from him, we can get you PG.
All right, that's good. I'll try to keep my mouth big, no bad words.
All right.
All right.
You did pretty good. A couple
Okay,
slip-ups, but
Did I?
nah, it was fine.
Okay.
My kids weren't around, but my wife, she cusses worse than I don't know what, but it's pretty bad. What's your favorite part of Vegas before we go?
Mount Charleston, the opposite side of where. Now, I do love Boulder, but I love my mountains. I am a mountain girl. I love Mount Charleston.
During the winter or all times?
All the time. Because I like hiking. I can't even think of the name of it right. Mary Jane Falls is awesome. I do like doing Mary Jane Falls. Bristol Cone, so the whole loop, Bristol Cone loop. So I like that with all the switchbacks, but I'm an avid hiker, so it's good.
So we should do an episode out there?
We can totally, or if you wanted.
You're like, I'm in.
I'm like, if you wanted, I could totally do that. I'd be like, let me bring the rail bike. And it'll be like, okay, let's see how that goes.
A rail bike out there. Can we do that?
No.
Oh, okay. You got me excited for a second.
It would, I could bring one, but there's no rail.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
mountain biking out there, and my buddy took me, and you get kind of close to the edge, and it freaked me out a little bit. But you get to see the horses out there. There's
Yeah,
awesome.
Griffith's Peak is good too. So like if you're a good, hiker and stuff like that, that's Cathedral Rock. That's another good uphill. Like if you want to be challenged with the cardio, do Griffith's Rock or Cathedral Rock. Sorry.
My cardio's not there yet, but I'm trying to get it there. I started with your bikes.
Good job. That's good stuff. It's
Yeah.
always stuff, just a work in progress as long as you're trying.
Yes. I'm surprised they didn't make me ride it back instead of the train for not pedaling at all the whole time.
Well,
But
usually we do have the people who don't pedal have to pedal the train
Backwards?
back the other way. So yeah.
probably should have had me do
No,
that.
I'm
I was
joking.
a bad
Nobody
boy.
does. You guys get a ride on the train. I don't want to freak anybody out. No, you get it.
So awesome. Thank you for coming in today. You
Thank
were
you for having
amazing.
me.
Your staff's amazing. Your place is amazing. And I can't wait for everybody else to go check it out.
Thank you guys very much. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to bring Jason in now, and he's going to talk about putting this whole adventure together. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, it's going to be a hard act to follow because Leslie, she did amazing.
She topped it, that's for sure.
She runs one of the most funnest spots, and I was going to say Vegas, but everybody from Boulder City would be very upset at me. They aren't too fond of people calling it Vegas. It's Boulder City.
That's right. The BC crew, that's right.
Yes. So what got you to put that adventure together for us?
Well, me personally, I live on that side of town, so I wanted to look for something a little closer to my end. So someone put out the trail or the train rides out there, and I was like, you know what? I know of a bicycle type thing, and I did more info on it, and man, it turned out to be a 10 out of 10 spot to go check out. Yeah.
Nice of you to save on the gas money and find a spot close to you. But I live in Centennial Hills in the Northwest, and for me it was about 35-40 minute drive, so it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
What
And
about from you from Henderson?
from my place, it was like 9 minutes. I literally live at the corner of the 215 and the 95, so it's just right on the other side of the hill. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part about it?
The whole experience was awesome, to tell you the truth. Seeing the old trains to taking the pictures with everybody and then getting on the bicycles and going as fast as we could. I guess we were able to go up to like 20-25 miles an hour on those bikes.
So you weren't part of my bike.
No.
Okay, you weren't doing the heavy lifting, but you were with Regis,
Yeah.
and I think you guys might have had too much fun.
We I'm not gonna laugh or not lie. We laughed almost the entire way there, just because it was so much fun to go as fast as you could, and then be able to just, I don't know. It was also an exercise, to put it that way, and I enjoy exercising. And we were taking turns going back and forth, just pedaling and as hard as we could. And
So I might have to take it out of the video, especially since Leslie's here listening. There was almost like a Titanic scene when I sent it to the editor. I saw you guys kind of have your hands up, but you had your seatbelt on, right?
right, I had the
Okay, good.
seatbelt on.
Safety first.
But I wasn't trying to be Titanic. I was trying to be Superman. It was supposed to look like I was flying, like,
Okay.
Clark Kent. I mean, I got my glasses on. They look like Clark Kent. But
It was funny when I saw it, but it was cool. It was almost like I felt like I was at Disney, where you strap on your seatbelt and you go on the adventure. So
yeah.
So you and Regis were pedaling pretty hard.
Man, we were putting up a sweat. I mean, I know I was putting my work in, but I mean, Regis is shaking his head no that he wasn't. But
I should have asked Leslie if the tandem bikes you have to pedal more than the four-seater, or...
Well, from my point of view, we were gaining on you guys, and then all of a sudden, the gap started increasing really quickly. So I think what it is depending on the weight of the vehicle, and since it was just two of us, we were able to catch up. But then when all four of you guys were pedaling, or in this case, all three of you guys, because someone wasn't, we were, you guys were accelerating much faster than us. So.
Well, people are going to have to watch the YouTube video, because there was a confession from Brandon during the video.
That's right.
So I haven't heard it yet, but I want to see what he had to say about me. But I have a feeling it wasn't that good, because I was having so much fun, I forgot to pedal.
Yeah, you lose track of that, because, I mean, and it happened to us as well, that we were pedaling as hard as we could, and then it just kind of like, it was coasting, and we're just like, oh, mate, we need to get back to pedaling or we're going to lose everybody, kind of thing. And I mean, it was an experience. That's
I'm
for
easily
sure.
distracted. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the street on one side of us, the highway, and then there was all this gorgeous scenery on the mountains, and then all of a sudden there was a casino, and then all of a sudden, a guy riding by there was so much going on.
There was. And even bats were flying around too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking over to Brandon, and I'm like, I think I should start pedaling. He's like, that'd be nice.
think?
Yeah, we've been going now for 3 miles, and now you decide you want to pedal?
The last quarter.
Yeah, but you also were taking pictures with Kendra. They had a little stand there.
The stand.
The stand where you put your head in?
Oh, yeah, that thing. I mean, it's a total cliche, just, painted bodies and everything, and you have to pretend who you are and stuff. It was cool. I mean, awkward, but cool.
We were having too much fun, I think.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the ride back?
I did. That was actually really, really cool, because we actually had like a train to ourselves, and we were up on the VIP area, which is, I think in the 1930s everybody was 5'7", because those chairs were not very big for our size, what we are today.
No, I mean, I almost hit my head. I know Kendra fit in real good. She fit in there perfect. But the stairs going up, everything, it was just, it was cool. It had those vibes from, 50s, 60s, or
whenever it was.
Whenever it was a long time ago, where you know, a simpler time, which
Right.
is nice. And Leslie mentioned this earlier, but just to get away from all the, as Regis calls it, the hustle and bustle of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was just going to be a bike ride, but when I found out the train was taking us back, that
Right.
was exciting.
That actually gave me more motivation to put a little extra work in on the bike because I knew I'm going to be relaxing the way back. So
Well, that's my excuse I'm going to use. I'm going to say I didn't pedal because I thought I had to pedal all the way back, so I was
Right, yeah.
saving my energy.
there you go.
So I'm gonna chalk it up to that. Whether you're in Henderson or in the Northwest, it's not a bad drive at all to
It
get there.
really isn't. And you know, the roadways out here in Vegas, it makes it simple. I mean, it's all a grid, you know, for the inner streets, and then outside is you got the 215, which is pretty much a giant circle around. The only thing that's gonna stop you is if there's a major accident, which there hardly is ever on our freeways, so which is nice.
Yeah, and you know what's exciting too is I think you guys pulled a prank on Kendra with the snakes, and they actually cleared the area for snakes before we got there, so that was nice. But
Yeah, someone was really freaking out when they heard the word snake or spider.
did you meet Rex?
I did. You know, the tarantula was not as big as I thought because, you know, on Animal Planet, they make it look like it's like 2 feet big and they're like ready to attack your face kind of thing. But no, this thing was no bigger than like 2.5 inches. I mean, it was hairy and it was still creepy, but
Well, you just ruined the video now because on the video it looks like it's the size of a basketball, and now I was trying to get. Well, the video's going to come out before the podcast, so it'll be fine.
All right,
but
there you go.
It was really hairy.
It really was. I mean, you could see the fangs and everything on it. It was really, I'm good. I am afraid of few things, and spiders are one of them.
Really?
So, yeah.
So did you stay pretty far back?
Well, see, I don't let fear dictate where I go. So I'm going to get close until it starts attacking me. Then I'll run like a little girl.
Nice. But when they, you know, when they were talking about him to the kids and everything, they said if you leave him alone, he's going to leave you alone. So
Right. Yeah. And you know, the weird thing is like I was actually nervous for the spider because we had to walk by it, and it was camouflaged really well within the rocks, and I was nervous that someone might accidentally step on him, but luckily nothing happened. So.
here's the $1 million question: is Rex real?
Rex
Yeah.
is real.
He is real.
Rex is real.
I'm gonna have to put it to the Pepsi challenge. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not putting him on my hand, that's for sure.
You know, Leslie is a big Disney fan, and what's that ride that you go on the water and they take you around?
The
Jungle Cruise.
yeah.
The Jungle Cruise. So, do you think those are real?
Come on.
Leslie's shaking her head like they're as real as Rex, right?
Right.
That's
Just like the Pirates of the Caribbean cruise.
that's not real.
Okay, Jack Sparrow.
Just ruined my childhood.
Uh,
No, but the nature out there is incredible, and the stuff that Leslie was saying about the other states that have it, where you can see other parts of nature. But it's a great ride. You can bring the whole family, and if you listen to me and pretend like you're pedaling, it's going to be an easy experience.
Absolutely. You wouldn't even need to have any water.
Would you go back?
Oh, in a heartbeat, honestly. I mean, for as close it is to where I live and stuff, and just something extra out there in Boulder City that I never knew, never did. And now, like, I want to go on the regular.
See, my wife and kids are mad at me, so I'm gonna have to take them back. But I didn't know about you, because you being a former bartender and now you're an amazing real estate agent. But being a former bartender, I think the only thing you were missing there was a bar, because I could see you with a cocktail pedaling. That'd be more your speed, or
That would be my speed, and I probably would have pedaled a little slower too to just indulge in the surrounding area. But yeah, I probably would have had a little glass of whiskey right there with me.
okay.
Yeah.
So even though there's no bar, you're still going back.
Oh, I'm still going back. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for picking out such a great place. I didn't know it existed, and I'm happy we're doing this because now a lot more people will know about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a lot of fun, like I said. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's Jason, that's Leslie, and they're Rail Explorers. Go check it out.
See ya.